How are retirement accounts divided in a divorce? Well, retirement accounts are completely different from traditional other assets like cash or investment accounts, and that's because they're considered qualified accounts. Qualified accounts means they're already pre-tax, meaning the tax has not been paid on those accounts as of yet. So when the money comes out of a retirement account, it becomes taxable. So you can't simply just take it out of a retirement account, give it to your spouse as part of a divorce. What you have to do is do what's called a quadro, a qualified domestic relations order. That is a court order that basically takes the qualified amounts from the retirement account and puts whatever portion that is being transferred into your spouse's individual retirement account or their own qualified account. That way, it retains the principle of the pre-tax characteristics, and that's an easy way to do it. So retirement accounts are a little bit different than cash and other assets. The way they get transferred is done via a quadro, and again, that's a court order, very common in every state. What financial documents should you gather in a divorce? Well, when you're going through a divorce, the very first thing you have to do is sort of put together a balance sheet. Balance sheet meaning your total assets, your total liabilities. You need to get your arms around exactly what that is. And when you talk about your assets, you want to get things like bank statements, investment accounts, things like that. Liabilities, you want to get your arms around your loan documents, mortgages, things like that. So the first thing is you really got to put it on paper to see what you own and what liabilities that you have. Before that, you're sort of shooting in the dark a little bit. So you want to be able to have your arms around what your total assets and what your total liabilities are. With regard to documents, one other thing you sort of do a cross check on is you compare the tax return to what investment accounts you may have. For instance, if the tax return says you generate investment income from ABC account, well, I should have a statement then from ABC account that gets reflected on my balance sheet. It's one of the ways you can sort of tick and tie to make sure that you've captured everything on your balance sheet. But the first step in any divorce is really get your arms around the total assets and the total liabilities. What does a forensic accountant do in a divorce case? Well, the first thing a forensic accountant has to do is get their arms around what the total assets are and what the total liabilities are. One of the ways to do that is a cross-check reconciliation between the tax documents and the total assets and the liabilities. Many times, a way someone can attempt to keep assets off of either their financial affidavit or their income off certain financial affidavit is they won't show it. And then, of course, one way to check it as a forensics person is you compare the tax return and you compare the income on the tax return. You compare income generated from certain assets from the tax return, and you cross-check that to the financial affidavit. That's sort of step one. Step two might be to further investigate private equity holdings that may be on the tax return, what's called via K1. Harder to get your arms around the value of those assets, but nonetheless, at least it's a way to know that they exist so that you can start the process of division of assets. Common financial mistakes to avoid post-divorce. Really, two things come to mind. One is lack of a budget, lack of understanding what your monthly inflow and your outflow is going to be, and in some cases needing to stay to a certain budget. Now that you may be on your own, it's extremely important to get your arms around not only your income, but your after-tax income. It's really your take-home income that matters. And then capturing what your new monthly expenses are going to be so you can determine how much you can put away each month and set aside to make sure that you're able to survive and take care of your responsibilities. So the first thing is sort of a budget. A common mistake is people go in sort of blind without that and end up spending too much, and then you become a little bit overweighted from a liability standpoint. The second thing is lack of understanding from the tax side of things, which is, what's on your tax return. and understanding your tax return. So it's important to sit down with your CPA, make sure they're explaining exactly what's on your return, what type of income tax you're paying, and also any possible deductions and or credits that you may be entitled to. So those are a couple things that I think about that post-divorce people should just be extremely mindful of when you're in this new environment.